Hello. So I have here the can which I have decorated, and I have spray painted with black as my base color. Okay. So for the base color, I used a spray paint. As I said before, you can use paints that you can find in cans. However, you might find it difficult to reach those parts inside. When you use flowers and leaves and other things with many parts, it's very important that you reach even the underside. Okay, because if you just paint, there are other parts there which the brush might not reach. So using spray paint is much better. Also, the paint would dry faster. So in the last video, you have seen me spray paint this uh, one layer. And then what I did was I checked the underside, under the petals, under the flowers, the areas which were not reached by the spray paint. I painted them thoroughly. Now, before we continue with the painting, because I will be painting this now. Um, I'm making this because some of you might not be able to find these gemstones where you live. Okay, because I bought them at a craft store in Manila, to those in the Philippines, a place called Divisoria. Um, However, I've seen some stores selling them, but more expensive, like twice the price. Now, so what I did is I am making this one with flowers. Maybe your mom or your sister has some artificial flowers that they don't need anymore. And then I used some um, what do you call this, metal butterflies. Now you might ask, okay, so these are the flowers I used. Okay, if you want to make the flowers smaller, you can remove, like for this rose. There was a time I removed this lower set of petals to make the rose smaller, and then this part here, I didn't throw it away. I placed it somewhere here. I have something somewhere here at the bottom here. It's quite difficult to see because it's black. And somewhere here on top, somewhere here, I placed one here. Okay, so those are some tricks that you can use. Now you might ask, teacher, what if we don't have artificial flowers? Now you can use paper cutouts. Go to YouTube. There are many DIY. To those of you who are not familiar with the meaning of the letters DIY, the letters DIY stand for do it yourself. There are many do it yourself or DIY videos on how to make paper flowers. Okay, so you can use paper flowers. For the leaves, maybe you have cartons from your soap box. Okay, or I have shown you what to do with how to make the vines using tissue paper. Okay, for the butterflies, you can make your own pattern. Okay, maybe you have something that looks like uh, something like a concave thing, like a dome. You could put it there and later on transform it into a ladybug. Okay, I just thought of that right now. But you can put ladybugs or dragonflies or whatever. If you don't want butterflies, if you have if you have a computer, have a pattern printed. Go to you search for um, fairy silhouettes or fairy figures, and then you can see in the clip art there are many silhouettes, like black shadows or figures of fairies. Some are standing, some are flying. You have it printed in a harder paper, maybe board, and then cut them out, put the fairies here, and then put the flowers. So instead of butterflies, you can use fairies if you like. Okay. Now I have my paints. Okay. So now what I have here are my brushes. I have brushes of different sizes. because I will be painting the leaves and the vines, so I would need brushes that are fine to reach those vines and leaves. And I have something a bit, wider for the wings of the butterfly. So I have my brushes. I have a glass of water so I can rinse the brush once I'm finished with one color. I have some tissue paper so I can dry the brush. Uh, and then I have my paints. So let's start. Why don't we start with a butterfly? Okay, because I'm not going to show you how to paint everything, because guys, with so many parts here, this would take me more than 1 hour to finish painting. Okay, so I'll just show you some techniques. Let's start with the butterfly. I'm going to use again what we call the dry brush technique. To those of you who have watched my videos before, when I made this and the other container, dry brush technique is a technique wherein you put some paint here. So I'm going to use gold. The colors would depend on you. You put some paint on the brush, remove the excess, and then you apply the paint. I'm going to apply it on the butterfly, okay? I'm going to make the butterfly gold, but not only gold, because I'm going to add, butterflies have different colors. I'm going to use some purples, blues, maybe some pinks, okay? So now here you can see the butterfly, okay? If you want to add another color, another layer to make it darker, feel free to do so. Okay, so that is dry brushing. If you notice, guys, in this jar, I started painting the background, right? In this. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the design. Because if I see that the paintings of the designs are okay, I might not paint the background. Why? So that, the colors would stand out against the black. Because if I would use gold here and gold here, the gold, the color, the light, bright colors of the background would drown the colors of the designs. So, there. Okay, so I'm now on the third coat of the wing for the wings. Okay. So it's the same technique when you paint now I want a thinner brush. I have a thinner brush here which I bought yesterday. Okay. So there's one butterfly. I'm going to paint the others while I'm letting this dry, because once dried, I will apply other colors to the wings. I'm not going to let it stay as just plain gold. I'm going to add other colors. When I was young, I was in elementary, at your age, like third grade. We were living in Marikina, and we used to have, in our former house, we used to have a big garden. Mom used to plant flowering plants, roses, daisies, and other seeds she would get whenever she visited Baguio City. During that time, guys, I know nowadays you're familiar with global warming. During the when I was in elementary, way back 1973, 74, the climate was different. It was when it's November, December, it would get so cold that when I do this, like hold my breath or hold some breath here, and then exhale, there would be fog. Now, it's not possible anymore because of the global warming. I remember before, when it's Christmas time, by the way, it's December, December 2021, while I'm making this video, because some of you might be watching this video years from now, uh, nowadays, before, when I was younger in elementary, when it's December, the cold spell, the cold temperature would last till around February. December to February, it would be very cold. Nowadays, sometimes the cold spell would just last uh, a few weeks. I remember there was a year in 2008, I think. I was waiting for the cold spell. I was waiting for it to get cold. But then it just got cold for 5 days, and then it's just like any regular summer day. Okay, so here's the second butterfly. See that? So see, as we say in Filipino, angat na angat siya against the black. It stands out against the black background. Okay, you can see it. That's why I didn't color the background first. Now let's say that while painting, there are some parts of some paint which went to the reached the surface. You can retouch by using some black paint. I have some black paint. I can retouch with a thin brush so that I can cover those excess gold, like this one. There are some parts where in the gold reach the background. If I want that covered, I can use black. I have a black like this, and then I could use a very, very thin brush like this so I can cover that part. Okay, I forgot how many butterflies there are here. I think there are 5. Originally, while planning this, I was just my original plan was to just use 3 butterflies, but then there were lots of spaces that were so nice to have butterflies on, so I added. So I think there are 5 big butterflies, I think, I'm not sure, and then 5 smaller ones. Okay, so that's one small one. Okay, so it's there's another one. So remember, guys, just be creative. If you don't have metal butterflies, maybe your sister has a ponytail with a butterfly, or maybe if you have a computer printer, there are lots of pictures, or what you call silhouettes or clip arts of butterflies. You have them printed, you cut them out, and then, as I said a while ago, if you don't want butterflies, you can use fairies. If you don't want fairies, you can use maybe, what else? Birds, if you want birds. Or maybe a fox. Or other animals that like to be with flowers. Okay, so you just brush it like that, thinly. Okay. Where are the it's quite difficult to find the butterflies when all of the whole can has been painted black. But then once you paint them, they would come out. I'm going to make the butterflies maybe different colors, maybe. Sometimes, most of the time, guys, when I do what you call this, recycled art, I would make something, and then as the design comes along, I would just change my plans. That's how I do it. Some people might work differently, like they would make a sketch of what their plans are. That would work too. But for me, most of the time, okay, so there are, let's see how many butterflies. I'm checking if I have skipped. Oh, there's one here. A butterfly is hiding here in one corner. Okay, but, oh, there's another one. Yeah, I added some butterflies kasi, it's so nice na I have a niece who loves butterflies. And I know of some girls and co-workers and co-teachers who love butterflies. So there, let me, okay. If I would be coloring the vines, I would use something that is darker, like brownish. So I will be using this for the vines. And then yesterday I bought some green paints from National Bookstore. I'll be using these for the leaves. They are quite cheap though. Like this one is 60 pesos, acrylic. That's cheap. And it's, I think it's imported. Berkeley. Yeah. Oh, no, made in the Philippines, in Quezon City. But it's better than the ones when you go to the hardware and then they put it in a container. Sometimes uh, the paint is more than enough, and then it ends up drying up or hardening. As we say in Filipino, titigas na lang yung pintura. Hindi nyo na magagamit. You won't be able to use them anymore because the paint has hardened. But once they are in a tube, you cover them, and because they are made for artists, uh, they would last long. Okay. 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 Let's say you applied too much paint. You can wipe the excess with with a napkin or with your finger. Just wash your finger after. Okay, so here it is. Okay. Oh, I have to color also the underside of these two butterflies. Okay, because they will be seen as black. So I have to color them too. Okay. Now I'm going to add color. After this, because I don't want the video to be very long, I will be pausing the video, and then when I return, you would see everything completed. Because painting the vines and the leaves and the flowers, it's the same. It's the same way. Uh, However, the flowers I used, like this one, has so many petals, it would take a long time, maybe more than 15 minutes just for one flower. But for the smaller flowers, it would take a shorter time. Okay, so I have here, I rinsed it in water, dried it, because I want this thin brush. Let's make one butterfly a bit purple and blue. I have my purple paint. When I was in elementary, as I was saying you a while ago, I think the story was cut short. My mom had a garden and there were many butterflies. And sometimes, because I really love science, I would catch them. I used to catch them and then put them in a bottle, seal it tight until they die, and then try to preserve them because I would see beautiful butterflies in frames. I thought I could make some. So I did, I tried. But then later on, I realized I was harming the population of the butterflies. So better, don't disturb the butterflies. Let them alone. Leave them alone. Okay. So I'm going to put some purple, but not in all the surface. Just some, because I still want the gold to be seen. Let's try another brush. I'll use a brush that is maybe stiffer. I'll try this one. There. Oh, okay. The stiffer the brush, the better. Okay, so lumalabas na yung purple. And then I'll be adding blue. I remember when I was young, I was able to catch a butterfly that was black and blue, black and green, yellow and white, black and red, like swallowtail butterflies. I rarely see them now. I guess I have helped in diminishing their population because I used to try to preserve them, you know, ending up killing them. Okay. Now I mixed some purple. Now I'm going to add some blue. Here is pearl sapphire. Okay? It's pearl sapphire. Sapphire is a gemstone that is blue. Okay. Okay, so just mix the color. Look at pictures of butterflies on the internet, and you would see butterflies of different colors. You can use them as references for the colors if you want. So there. So my butterfly now is a mixture of blue and purple. They are almost close. You know, to those of you who have studied art, I know you have studied art, like what are the primary colors, what colors you mix to produce this and that. Okay, so blue is a primary color, and then when you mix it with red, it becomes purple or violet. Okay. So you see that now? Okay. Now I want maybe some of the wings to come out or to be more seen. Maybe because I have already added blue, I think I'll try white. So that's how I paint. You know, I try, and if I don't like the color, I just cover it up with another color. So I have to cover this tube of blue. Let's try silver. Silver. Where's my silver? Here. Okay. Then I'll use a thinner brush. I'm using a thinner brush so that the silver, okay, just add some silver on the tips, and the wings. Okay. Okay. There. Yeah. Butterfly wings remind me of fairies. Fairies are mythical creatures with wings. Okay, so you can add some of them, add some color to your butterfly. So there's my first butterfly. I would like to add another color, something to make it stand out more. I'll add some copper. So yung teacher naman magastos sa paint. Yeah, it's an investment when you're doing some art. If you like these kind of art, it's quite an investment also, but it's fun. Okay? It's quite fun. Okay, there. I think this is nicer. I can see the antenna more. Yeah, and even so yung silver kanina, I tried covering it a bit with bronze. and maybe the body. Remember the part of an insect, the head, the thorax, and the abdomen. I'm going to cover, I'm going to paint the head and the thorax and the abdomen with the same color to make the butterfly stand out. Okay. Now, there it is. Okay. Okay, now you can see it clearly. Yeah, it's much better, the copper. The effect of the copper. You can see the outline of the wings. Wow. Now, guys, can you see the butterfly more clearly now? A while ago, I used silver. It wasn't that clear. You know, it was clear, but now you can see it. It's more conspicuous. When you say conspicuous, you can see it more clearly. In Tagalog, mas litaw na litaw. Okay, so you you do the same with the other butterflies, and then okay. Um, Okay, I'll be painting the butterflies first, and then when I return, the butterflies are finished. The next part, I will be painting the vines and the leaves. Okay, so I'll see you in a while.